Love must not be tied. This is a story of a young warrior and a pretty girl, two souls that loved each other lostly. The young man was strong, brave, one of those who were not afraid of storms or wolves. Everyone in his tribe spoke of him, not only because he was skilled in hunting and in battle, but because he had a noble heart. And the girl, she was like the wind before the rain, free, unpredictable, and beautiful. Her laughter could make you forget the pain, and her gaze had the depth of a river that carries secrets in its current. Since childhood, they had grown up together, sharing games, adventures, and dreams. And now, already adults, they knew they wanted to be together forever. But there was something that worried them. "I'm afraid that one day life will separate us," the girl confessed, leaning her head on the young man's shoulder. "That's not going to happen," he assured. "But if there is something we can do to ensure it, we will do it." And so, holding hands, they went to see the old witch of the tribe, a man who had seen more winters than anyone could count. It was said that he knew the secrets of love and time, that he could see what others could not. The witch was sitting by the fire when they arrived. When he saw them, he smiled with a look full of wisdom, as if he already knew what they were going to ask. "What are you coming for, boys?" he asked with a paused voice. "We love each other," said the young man firmly, "and we want to be together forever. But we fear that fate or time will separate us. We want a spell, something that will make our love never end." The girl said, "Let nothing or no one keep us apart." She added, "Neither the wind, nor life, nor death." The old witch stared at them and remained silent for a long time, as if he were looking for the answer in the flames of fire. Finally, he spoke. "What they ask is something big," he said. "It is not enough to say that they love each other. True love needs to be tested." The young men looked at each other. They would do whatever was necessary. The witch then pointed to each one of them. "You, girl, go to the mountain that is north of the village. You must climb it alone, without more weapons in your hands and a net. At the top you will find a strong and beautiful falcon. Bring it alive before me on the third day after the full moon." The young woman felt without hesitation. "And you, young man," continued the witch, "you must go to the mountain of thunder in the south. There, at the top, you must catch the most majestic and powerful eagle, only with your hands and a net, without hurting it. The same day the girl returns, you must also bring your eagle before me." The young man felt the emotion and responsibility of the test. Catching an eagle with his own hands would not be easy, but he was not afraid. "I will do it," he said with determination. The witch got up slowly, approaching them with a serious look. "Remember something," he said. "This is not a test of strength, but of love. If you really wanted to last forever, you must overcome this task." The young men bowed their heads in a sign of respect and left in opposite directions. The following days were not easy. The girl walked without rest in the north. She climbed mountains, crossed rivers, and slept under the open sky, with only the moon as a witness. When she reached the top of the mountain, she saw a hawk of golden feathers hovering in the skies. She stood still, watching it, waiting for the exact moment. "You are free and strong," she whispered, "but this time I must take you with me." When the hawk descended to hunt, the girl threw her net with precision. The bird fluttered strongly, but she held it gently. "Calm down, Brother Hawk. I will not hurt you," she said, covering it with her cloak to calm it down. In the south, the young man faced his own test. The mountain of thunder did not give him a truce. The rain hit his skin. The wind tried to knock him down, but he did not stop. At the top, he saw an eagle with huge wings and fierce gaze. "You are the king of the sky," whispered the young man. "It will not be easy to convince you to come with me." He waited patiently. The eagle descended on a rock, and in a single movement, the young man jumped and caught the bird with his strong hands. The eagle cried, whistled, but he held it with respect and without hurting it. "Do not worry. I will not hurt you. I just need to take you with me," he said in a low voice. When the third day came after the full moon, the two returned to the village. In front of the witch's shop, the young man and the girl met. They looked at each other and smiled. Their hearts beat strongly. They had made it. The old witch left her shop and watched them both. Then, with a solemn voice, She asked them to take the birds out of their bags. The hawk and the eagle spread their wings, observing everything with penetrating eyes. They were really the best of their kind. The witch looked at them with a serious expression. "Well done," said the witch at last. "Now listen carefully." With slow movements, he took out 2 strips of leather and gave them to her. "Take these strips and tie the legs of the birds together. Do not hurt them, but make sure they cannot separate." The young men looked at each other, a little confused, but they obeyed without questioning. Carefully, they tied the legs of the eagle and the hawk with the strips of leather. "Now let them go and let them fly," ordered the witch. The young men did what they were asked, but what happened next left them speechless. The 2 birds tried to take off, but as soon as they tried to take off together, they tripped and fell to the ground. The eagle threw to one side, the hawk to the other. They beat their wings with force, trying to take off, but all they could do was to tumble on the ground, filled with dust and despair. The scene went from being confusing to being painful. The angry hawk pecked at the eagle. The angry eagle scratched the hawk with its claws. What had started as a simple test became a desperate fight for freedom. Screams and groans filled the air, and the young men looked at each other without knowing what to do. "We have to let them go," exclaimed the girl, alarmed. But the witch raised her hand, telling them to wait a little longer. The birds, getting more and more tired, turned to the ground, hurting themselves unintentionally, until in the end, defeated and powerless, they stopped moving. The witch, without saying a word, took out her knife and cut the leather strips. As soon as they felt free, the hawk and the eagle separated immediately, and without losing a second, took off, each one in his own direction, without looking back. Silence took over everything. The young men watched the birds disappear in the sky, feeling in their chests something they had never understood before. The witch sighed and, with a deep voice, spoke. "Now listen carefully." The young men turned to him, attentive. "You are like those birds. If you tie each other too much, even for love, even with the best intentions, the only thing you will achieve is to get hurt." The witch took a break, letting her words sink deep. Love is not a rope that ties. Love is a wind that drives them to fly together, but free. The girl lowered her gaze, assimilating what she had just witnessed. "Do you mean that we should not be together?" she asked with a threat of voice. The witch smiled tenderly. "No, little one. It means that they must learn to fly together, but without tying themselves." Suddenly, the young man felt that something inside him was settling. Everything they had feared, everything they wanted to avoid with a spell, they had just understood without the need for magic. And so this story ends. A story that not only speaks of the love between 2 people, but of all human relationships. Because when we try to tie ourselves too much, sooner or later we get hurt. But if we learn to fly together without fear, without chains, without wanting to control everything, then love lasts forever. Now tell me, how do you want to love?